it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this April meeting of the Planning Commission to order. If you're willing and able, please stand and join the reciting pledge. Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, we get breaking news too, guys. Oh, we get breaking news. Oh, on the bottom of the screen. So if you get bored with our meeting, anybody in the news is Commissioners, in front of you, first in our packets tonight are the minutes from the last meeting. Any additions or corrections to those minutes? Approval of agenda. Oh, how about we approve the agenda? That's first. We also have an agenda for tonight. Sorry about that. Any changes or amendments to the agenda? Now a motion to submit the agenda as, or approve this, you know what I mean. The agenda is submitted.
Accept the agenda as written.
Okay.
Second.
Second, Julie. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Paul, for your reminder. I do not have any remarks tonight, so we'll move to approval of the minutes from March 18th. Anything anybody would like to bring to our attention or comment on? Seeing none, since you all read your packets ahead of time, thank you very much. We have a motion to approve minutes from March 18th as submitted. So moved. Second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Commissioners. We also have a public comment section. If anybody would like to come to the microphone and make a comment, please limit it to 3 minutes and give us your name, address, and telephone number, and marital status, and how many kids you have.
You didn't say social security.
No, we don't want that.
Okay. Dave Daly, 7223 Mulder. So the one thing I liked the detail that you guys put together in your project list, but it's missing a couple things. And I know that we say up in the first one, item and date, but none of them have dates on when they were opened. And then, I mean, some of them have been open for 3 years, and there's no direction to close them. And you've got 2 board members in this committee, and I would think that they'd be assigned to get them closed, and there needs to be a closure date. You know, what's the anticipated closure date?
He's looking at our report to the board.
Right.
Oh, the annual report.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, this should be a working document that's used throughout. Whenever there's a new ordinance, or whenever somebody says, you know, planning commission needs to investigate this, it goes on this list. Here's the date that it was opened. Here's who's working on it. Here's the next steps. And here's the anticipated closure date. And if it's hung up at the township, then Jeff should be assigned to break the logjam free. Right? I mean, anyway. But I do like this. It's a good start, and it should be used as a tool to get some of this stuff off your plate.
Thank you.
Peter Stevens, 7500 Trotters Lane, March 9th, Vice. As to what you're discussing tonight, I know I've made comment before on the small energy solar systems and how I believe that limits limitations on them should be reduced as much as possible to encourage people to do that on their residential properties. Things such as not requiring screening and being favorable to allowing people to build bigger systems if they want to produce more energy than they directly need on their properties. I've driven around the township. Well, I drive around the township a lot. I've seen a lot of solar panel systems that are up in people's yards, and actively trying to look at them while I'm driving around, I had the same thought Pat Schloss did. Screening these things so people don't see them while they're driving or walking around is just folly. If people are driving around, they should be looking at the road. They shouldn't be looking for people's solar panels. The language put into the ordinance talking about trying to keep a positive visual image of the township is language that is so reminiscent to me of HOA regulations in individual neighborhoods that it concerns me with the direction that this ordinance may be going, or other ordinances in the future may be going. So again, that's just my concerns with the small solar. To the accessory dwelling units, this is something that obviously has been very important to me in the past, and at this point in my life is now even more salient. My siblings and I just had a conversation with my dad not even a week ago, who is now 80 plus years old, lives in a 3-story home, 3 staircases that he's having more and more difficulty managing. And we talked about how he may have to move out of there to be safe for us as children to keep an eye on and make sure that he is living in a safe environment. Reading this accessory dwelling unit ordinance, and one of the discussions we had was, would he be able to build some kind of small dwelling on my 53-acre farm where he can be nearby to family and we can keep an eye on him? And I told him, as far as I knew, the township would never allow something like that to happen. And if it did, it would be something where I would be able to build him some kind of dwelling, all of which would require foundations and all building requirement specifications be met. And at least as my understanding what this ordinance goes, if he was allowed to live there for a temporary period of time, I'd have to rip it down as soon as he died or moved out. I just think that that is the kind of thing that is incredibly callous towards families that are looking to try and stay close to each other and support one another. Family farms and family compounding is something that has existed throughout the history of the United States, families wanting to stay close together. I really wish that this body and the board would consider that while we are here in a time where we have a major housing shortage across the country and locally, to try and figure out ways that people could utilize their land to help support living for other people. I would love to build a house for my dad on my property and have him live there, but that would be 2 homes on my property, which isn't allowed. If it was even an accessory dwelling unit for family members on a permanent basis, that would be something I think that would allow a little bit more flexibility with families. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public at this time? Yeah, but Dave might have thought of something and wants to come back up. You never know. Seeing as there are no more at this time, move on to our reports for the evening. Sri, your report, please.
I think the meetings with applicants who want to start construction have picked up lately because the weather's getting better.
Is it, the red is on? You might be
mute.
It's not, just untap it, it'll go green. I'll turn it off.
Okay, there it is. So I've been having a lot of walk-ins and Zoom calls with residents who wanted to meet with me. Upon discussion with Jeff, I think we've been enforcing the office hours. So I have reserved office hours for residents who come in every Tuesday and Wednesday between 1 and 4, and Friday from 9:30 to 12 via Zoom only. I reserve the other times to work on the text amendments and packets, meeting with review teams and all. But if there's any time applicant requests another time, if it's time sensitive, then we accommodated time other than those hours. But if it's not time sensitive, we try to direct people to call, meet with me around that time. And it's working great. I think it gives a sense of predictability for me and all that as well. A couple of things that didn't make it to the staff report, but wanted to just give you guys an update. So as you all know, once a special use permit is issued, it stays with the land. For that to be revoked, the Planning Commission has to go through a process similar to special land use, do a public notice to revoke the special use permit. The cobblestone farms, the commercial stables and cobblestone farms, it was recently bought by the residents next door, and they wanted to just convert that in, not the barn, but convert that land into, split that into 2 lots and build 2 houses on it. And one of the recommendations I made at that time, because they will be modifying the lot to revoke the special land use permit so that it's not hanging out there. So we might be getting that process started soon. The other revocation of special use permit, when I'm talking to them about cobblestone, that came up was the Loch Alpine Clubhouse. As you all know, it's been in litigation for quite a while, and from what I heard, it's coming to a closure. They're being told that they cannot subdivide that property into more lots. So I've been getting calls from realtors trying to figure out what the options are. If it cannot be, like, what are the other uses that are permitted for R2 that the property can be reused for, and golf course may not be a feasible option. As part of that too, I've been suggesting that let's just revoke the special use permit and then start over, because I'm not able to track down where the original special use permit is. It was done in 1970s. I have no. So those two are coming up. While we are at the Loch Alpine communication, I've also realized every corner lot, almost pretty much, in Loch Alpine is non-conforming. And I only could track down a couple ZBA variances associated, but a majority of them don't have ZBA variances, so we need to, and this is my segue to, if you remember, a while ago, I was requesting Planning Commission to reconsider the non-conforming structure uses expansion and the standards, and when they need to go to ZBA, when they don't need to go to ZBA. It's not clear, and I just wanted to point out that it would help if we could clarify that section. Because right now that section says if you alter a zoning, a non-conforming structure, you need to go to ZBA. And alteration is it can be as much as removing a structural member, like if you remove a wall or move a wall. That's what alteration is defined in the zoning ordinance. It's very restrictive. So I just wanted to put it out there, food for thought. And we had training for zoning board of appeals members at their April meeting. We broke down the standards of review, and it was very helpful. The discussion that followed every standard was also very insightful. I was able to take notes about where they are having trouble with, where they thought, there's confusion. I took notes, and I think I'm going to bring it back when I schedule our first review team meeting in 2 weeks. That's it. Are there any other questions anybody has what to say.
Can you review the amendments in the pipeline for the PC? Because we've got a lot of them there that are waiting for 15 minutes for in the case of one of them, I think a draft for the land division meeting for bills.
Yes.
And it's like, they're sort of hanging out there. And the reason I ask is, you just brought up something else you want us to review, but we have 6 things that are already in our pipeline that are not moving.
Right, so the one I want, thank you. I'm actually kind of prepared to answer that question because I was just going over that myself this morning. The non-conforming structures, it's not like time sensitive, but I just wanted to bring it, keep it under your radar. With regards to, I'm actually ready to schedule review team meetings for land division standards of review. Because I completed my initial research and I'm ready to present those findings to the review team. And Kay reached out to schedule a review team for large solar structures, and I just need to track down the big map where it is in the township office. Linda and I are looking for it. As soon as we get that, we can schedule that one. So my goal is to have at least one review team meeting starting next week. And then please get us an update by the next meeting. So I prioritized, based on my readiness, land division, standards of review, and large-scale solar. You need to pick up public nuisance for lighting and the others, but I can only do a couple at a time.
Right. Just seeing as having more things coming down the pipeline, just the farther we get behind, the farther we get behind. Okay, any other questions for Sri? Thank you. Well, we don't have a zoning enforcement officer here, the report is there. I don't know if there's any detail that we can get into, but is there anything that as you looked at it that we can take back to them or want to take back and say, hey, what about? Okay. Hi, George. Moving on then, board report.
So we had a very long meeting last night, which some of you know, and some of you don't, George. I know, I was giving you a hard time. Pretty much the highlights, the private roads ordinance, we finally set another date, a makeup date for the town hall for that on May 13th. The data center moratorium was approved. That's data centers and battery energy storage. The Washtenaw County Road Commission agreement for the work for this year was approved. I could read them off. We're looking at Chamberlain Road this year, Zeeb Road, Merkel to North Territorial, South Hamburg Road from Barker to the county line, Yankee Lane, Donnell Drive, Pine Tree Lane and Sunrise Drive. Those are, it's a really small development that's over by Base Lake. So it's, you gotta go around to get to it. It's right on the corner. Gregory Road from Huron River Drive to Cowell Lane. And I think that's it. That was passed. We had discussion regarding legal team access policy. There's now gatekeepers basically for that. So anything that's going to go to the attorneys has to be essentially approved by them. That's Mike and John Scharf. And the only other, MTA subscription was renewed, so by all means, seek out more training if there's something there that you're interested in. There was discussion of a water softener purchase for here, because apparently the old one that we have has failed. And anybody that's ever had the water here knows that it's terrible. And the last thing is there was a discussion at the end of the night about payroll processing and outsourcing that, which I really don't know where it got left, to be honest with you. There was a discussion, but Tony was saying she was going to go ahead and do it anyways. So I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I got questions.
Shoot.
First one, MTA Principles of Governance. What happened to that?
Nothing happened to it. I mean, we talked about it. It's just something that out of the blue MTA sent to us. And there was a lot of discussion about, it's essentially like when I worked at other institutions, they just had guiding principles on the wall. And that's really what it is. So people didn't sign it last night. We just talked about it, like where did it come from? What is this? Why do we even have this? And I don't know why it got on the agenda. That it's just something that we got in the mail out of the blue. So nothing happened with it is the answer.
Legal team access policy. I think it said for us that we should go to our chair.
Yeah.
And then he has to go to one of those two people? Is that the system?
I think,
Or is he one of the gatekeepers?
no. I think anybody can go and email, you have to email both people to tell them what you want to talk to the attorney about. That's about it. And they say either say yay or nay.
But I thought there was a section about the.
There
planning commission.
is. I don't know it.
Okay.
I don't know it by heart.
Okay.
So,
Just to be clear on what we're supposed to do, that I think it said we talk to you. Or
Probably, yes.
that's the way it has
Nobody
been in the
mentioned
past.
that to me ahead of time, so it was like, oh. that was a
Just
surprise.
informally, that's the way it was in the past.
Right.
That
right.
if a planning commissioner wants to do something, go to the lawyers first and think for the PC, we talk to the chair.
Would you
And I
please
have-
clarify that, or do you want me to clarify that tonight? The board, seriously.
I can clarify it. I'm sure it's in the packet that we had yesterday. I can go out and get it if you want.
That's okay.
I still have it.
I just want to make sure, because if it's in our minutes, we should have the correct,
Yes,
that reflected correctly in our minutes.
we should.
So we can put that in next time.
Yeah.
to be
Well, that
clear.
policy should, I mean, if there's a gatekeeper policy, it should be given to everybody that could possibly even go.
Right.
And wouldn't that be refreshing?
Yeah, so, I mean,
So maybe we can have it in our packet next time.
I'll bring it up. It should be handed out
Yeah.
or emailed.
Somehow.
Are you done, Kay?
Yes, thank you very much.
That's why I raised my hand this time. I didn't just blurt out. Let's get a clarification, because within the past 6 months, I had been told by who that I was able to go directly to the attorney to ask a question, and it was about an ongoing topic that the township's been dealing with that I have knowledge of and stuff, but I'm not sure if that was why, or if it was because I'm a PC member, I don't know. But I had been told that I could just go to the attorney direct myself. I did not do it because I was able to talk with him, or hear whatever we all, somebody else went to the attorney, whatever, okay? But I'm just saying, I was told I could go, so let's just clarify that.
Because now it's in writing, there's a written policy.
Yeah.
I have it on the screen. So we go to chair first, and then the chair would go to the designated board representatives
Mhm.
to get
That's
the,
you,
which is Mike and John.
John, okay. Can do.
Okay. Clarification received.
And you guys all know what that's, I mean, that's because of the cost of attorneys right now.
Right.
So essentially,
Well, the other challenge you have, if 5 different people are going to the attorneys and they interpret what the attorney says 5 different ways, how do you aggregate that to make sense?
there was also a situation when 2 people went
That's
for
what
the
I-
same issue.
That's what I was referring to, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll just keep it focused.
Right.
One more. The public town hall is.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
For the roads?
Yeah,
Yeah, first name.
sorry.
Okay, hold on, sorry, we gotta back up a minute.
Sorry, you weren't here.
No, the attorney thing. So does it also go in reverse in that the attorney, what approval do they need to reach out to us?
I don't think that was,
Or does that not?
I don't,
Is that they have the purview to, if they reach out to us, that's okay?
most of the time, well, if they reach out to you,
If they reach out,
that's a good question, George.
I think you
I
should
don't
go
know,
back
that
to- I
was-
think you should go back to those two steering guys over there and say, hey, how do you want this to be handled?
That was not talked about. Good question.
So you want them to reach out to you?
no.
And
Do they call you?
baseball practice?
Yes, I have been reached out to. I did not reach out, but I had been reached out to. So
Your-
I'm just now.
Your first comment is, should be, you're not charging us for this, right?
Yes, well,
Yeah. Pro bono.
well, no,
Council pro
so
bono
wait a
work,
minute, I actually reported on that topic when it
Yeah.
happened. It was 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Oh, my.
So I said, is the 5 minutes 1 hour? So is this a 2-hour conversation or is it half hour? What's the 5 minutes?
Well, don't worry, they charge for .1 and,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, as long as we have a weight advantage.
I mean, since we're on the topic,
That's
that's the
the
reason
whole-
we just, okay, thank you.
Yeah, we should, everybody should still have it, because there's talk in there about information that you get, like board members, we have to share everything, all that.
Do us collectively a favor, whether it's through her or through you,
Yeah.
please have this in our packets, the written piece in our packets. We can look at it there tonight, but if we have it in our packets, there's no excuse for us not having a written document to refer to.
Or in your box.
Or in my box,
Okay.
whatever works, just
It should be sent,
Yeah.
regardless.
please, thank you. Anything else for Jeff? Seeing none, ZBA report, Zach, Rick?
Tree held a training session for the zoning board of appeals members on April 7th. And like she said, went over the standards of review and discuss revision of the decision form for variance. That's basically it.
I have a question, because I was gonna reach out, but then I thought, no, I'm not. On this meeting agenda is a planning commission update. Who gives that update?
Sure.
You gave an update?
Why doesn't
Okay.
Rick do it?
Well, what did you say?
Just the text amendments, what we're doing, and where
Okay.
the drafts are available.
Well, how do we know what I mean, we assume you're telling the truth, and we assume you're reflecting what's in our thing, but can we be CC'd on whatever you're saying in a meeting on our behalf? There's a planning and zoning, I get that, that's you.
Right.
Then there's a board report, that's Rick.
I can take
For
off
Jeff.
planning commission update off the
No, no,
agenda,
no,
just
I'm
give it as
No,
part
I'm
of
not
the.
saying off, I just don't know
I
what's
guess,
included in that report. Is there a written report that's included in that report?
No, it's just verbal. I just go over the agenda items and then just give them what ordinances are under review. I can give that as part of my planning and zoning.
Okay.
It's similar to how Jeff's giving the board update or Rick's giving the ZBA update to you guys. It's just like that, informal.
that's what he's afraid of, that's how I get it.
Well, no, I don't know if I, as the chair, should be at that meeting, providing that report and answering questions, or Jeff, or whoever's the board representative on that, should be there. I don't know where that responsibility lies. I thought I would.
What do you think, Rick? How do I get the?
You could just have the minutes too,
I just didn't want, I was just trying to just keep them informed, kind of a thing,
No,
not
I
as
don't
a,
disagree
right.
about the information. I just want to know, nothing against you.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how can I, like, do you have a suggestion? Maybe I can try follow that. I'm trying to, like,
Well, should it be that, I mean, quite frankly, I think As Rick is our ZBA rep here. He gives us a ZBA report on this commission. Jeff gives us a board report. But it doesn't work in reverse, at least in the ZBA's case, right?
I see your point, there's no, I mean, Rick's planning commission member who's at the ZBA meeting, my intent was just to simply keep them informed. That way, you know, just they're aware of, you know, like we're informing you on PDR and all the other committee members.
Do they see our year-end report in their packet?
What, yearly report?
Our year-end report that we can send to the board?
No.
Well, that's what I mean, there's stuff in there that I think they should be aware of, because when we look at our report, just like Dave said, there's stuff on there that's gonna affect the ZBA. So if they're looking longer term like we do, like what's in our bucket that we need to pay attention to, how do they know what to think about, or be prepared for? I think a piece of getting their information to them is missing. Whether it's our minutes,
I'm thinking it should be minutes.
I mean, would the minutes be?
I mean, they don't meet on a regular basis like
No,
we do,
I understand that.
but maybe at least our last minutes.
I mean, I think the simpler way is to probably just take that off agenda because minutes are available online if they,
Or agenda.
yeah, so.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I can,
I feel sort of bad for them on the one hand, because it's like, they're driving blind.
Or Rick can give it.
I
He's
can,
always so
I
chatty.
get an update.
Your thing right there says planning and zoning update, that's you. Township board, whoever the board rep is, do you go on the ZBA?
Nope.
Yep, this is the ZBA.
There is no board rep anymore.
There is no board member on the ZBA
Okay.
right now.
It says planning commission update, which is like,
Rick,
Well, Rick is.
Rick is.
so
planning.
do you give a report to the ZBA on what we're doing?
Yeah, so we kind of share it.
We kind of tag team,
We'll
but
we'll work on it. I'll work on it.
I just want to make sure they get the written scheme in some form. I mean, like tonight, you said, oh, I was doing this, oh, I remembered that. If you don't remember that, it doesn't go into their minutes. And it's nothing, again, I'm not shooting bullets at you.
oh no, I'm not,
It's
my
just-
face is a look of confused face, not a look of getting shot at.
I think the minutes probably is enough.
Then maybe
Or the-
the,
or
It was
the
not,
agenda.
it was not there before, I just started it
Yeah.
out of, keeping them, it was not part of their agenda before,
Okay.
so we can take it off.
but as a chair, I would like to see some form of minutes or whatever included in the ZBA meetings so that they have something in their packet that tells them what we're doing. Yes, George?
I have a suggestion on this topic, similar to the report that Chuck gives. And then if we have questions, we're able to ask Sri about it, okay? So, yes, the minutes is a good idea, however, in reality, they're not gonna read it. So the question, my suggestion is, well, first, my question is, are you suggesting like twice a year? Or are you suggesting for every meeting, since they don't have meetings all the time?
And any meeting that they have, I think they ought to get at least the last
Okay.
set of minutes that we have.
Okay, so
So they'll see our ongoing work.
my suggestion is, instead of the minutes, do a Cliff's Notes version of the minutes, just do bullet points from what's been talked about. And if you want to compose that, like Chuck has composed.
I'm not saying create more work.
Well, no,
That doesn't give them what they need. They're just gonna get talked about microphones. Well, what are we talking about with microphones?
no.
Maybe they don't read the minutes, but
If we bullet point what we're working on, what we've done, present that to them, and then Rick and Sri can answer questions on
well,
that.
the minutes would work.
But they're not gonna read them, that's what I'm saying, they're too long.
The agenda would be better, and then if they have questions, they can ask
That
Rick or
would-
Sri.
That's
So
fine.
does the agenda make sense? Is that enough, do you think?
I think that's easy.
Okay.
Is that good, Rick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
We'll work on it.
very brief note in here somewhere. There it is.
Yeah, we had nothing on the, no, there was nothing we approved for the PDR, so they're looking at some stuff, but nothing was approved.
Okay. Anybody have questions for a person who isn't here to answer the questions? Okay. Well, we did, now I'm back to the same thing with the ZBA. There's nobody to answer the questions.
But I like having both the minutes and then Barry's report.
I do.
I think that's pretty darn comprehensive.
Yep. Well, that being the case, Kay, would you like to give us a natural features update, please?
Yes, please. Two things. The first one is the nature photo contest. The natural features information sharing page that's we've been working on for a year for the website has 4 sections. And 2 of them are PDR, so land preservation, and novice farmers. So I would like to make a pitch for somebody who might have pictures of like farmland with trees or, you know, some animals, some sunsets. So we feel like, we didn't really make it clear that we would like also a combination of farm and natural features too. So if any of you have pictures like that, we would appreciate some submissions. But this is for photos that might go on the website. Okay? Is it clear what I'm asking?
Yes.
Thank you for considering that. Second thing, one of the residents who's come to the board meetings to talk about trees came to our natural features committee meeting. And she has a lot of enthusiasm and experience, and she's generally interested in tree preservation. So we are very excited to have met her, and we didn't have time at our meeting. We got to talk a little bit, but we're going to have a brainstorming meeting with her offline. She seems enthusiastic to help us with some sections about trees on our website and other ways we can reach out to community members. So remember, the Natural Features Committee is not about rules, it's about awareness and providing information so that people might choose to learn more or do something. So we're very excited about that. Trees.
That was a tough last night on the roads.
Has been a topic.
Yeah. Yeah, you missed that last night too, George. I'm concerned. We have no public hearing tonight, so we'll move on to old business. The first topic is a small solar. We had initially had a public hearing scheduled for tonight, but the notice was a little bit, it had the wrong date on it, and the wrong topic.
I attached the wrong document.
Well, we're not pointing fingers. So neither of our public hearings is happening tonight, it's happening at the next one. So this topic, glad to talk about it, but you've heard my view before, is we should wait until the public hearing to get all the comments back and do it all at once, instead of trying to revise a document now, take it to a public hearing or a lawyer, have them give us comments, and then go, oh, now we got to do it all again. That being said, if anybody would like to review the document and make any comments, I'm all open for it. I just don't know what to do tonight, ending the public hearing.
We gotta set a public hearing for it.
We do.
That's why you're looking for a motion.
Yes.
I have questions.
Yes.
I need clarification. Because in the background, the bottom of the page, it says master plan alignment, and it talks about screening all 3 bullet points. I went to the master plan earlier today, and I don't see that anywhere in the master plan.
It does not say that. It's
No, it
much
doesn't.
higher level.
Right.
There are no details in there.
So
I'll update
I
that.
found that really confusing, because
Okay.
you know, that was kind of the basis of doing a lot of this, to align with the master plan, and I'm like, it wasn't there.
Right. It doesn't matter. What was, here it is.
19 of 77.
Yeah, that was it.
Have to be revised. Okay.
So the one, Sri, you want to correct the part that we had talked about pertaining to the first paragraph?
Yes, I can share that now. So the first part on page
Page 21 to 77.
Page 21 of
Hold on.
77.
Hold on. Don't we have a new section? Okay.
A, where it, in the third line, where it talks about that is intended for use by primary building or accessory buildings and uses. I think George reminded me, we were going to change that to primary or accessory buildings and uses. That way it covers primary uses which may or may not have a building.
So that was requested in the planning commission minutes of the
Right.
last meeting,
Correct.
and it wasn't
There,
changed here.
Correct.
right.
So that's why it's just doing what we asked.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was another one too,
Uh,
that I sent you.
About the attorney comments?
No, 2B, we asked the, and 2B, let's see,
What page? Okay.
I'm sorry, I lost it, PC minutes, the grammar and 2B minutes problematic.
D2B? Yeah.
D, 2B,
Yeah.
yes. The
Okay.
grammar is problematic, it was in the minutes, we asked for this. It should be, and SES mounted on a flat roof is
Oh,
subject
yeah.
only. So those were,
Okay.
that's it, otherwise.
And just a point of clarification, Kay asked me, what are the comments from the attorney? These two that are on the first page of memo, those are the only changes that the attorney provided.
Okay. I'm gonna get back to my original point.
No, I'm
I
not making
don't
it.
think there's any point in reviewing. Again, we're gonna have public, there's gonna be a lot of people out here. So why don't we just tackle that all at once? So Paul is gonna make a motion to set the public hearing, which would be,
There's something to read, there's just put that in right there. Make
because
it sound-
you can make it up, you're pretty good at that.
Am I?
It would be May 20th meeting.
I move to set a public hearing for May 20th on small-scale solar systems, section 12.110, and section 2.10 definitions. And this is 26 ZTA 01.
Second.
Second, Julie?
Did I say the date?
Yeah, this one started with it.
That's okay. It's probably been long. Hey, at least you got it. Half the people. What? Roll call, please, Kay.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. See you on May 20th for a public hearing. The next item on our agenda is a temporary moratorium on data centers and battery storage facilities. This is another one that was supposed to be on our public hearing for today, which is not. However, there have been a couple of changes here. I just want to make sure that everybody is okay with this draft document. And I want to be clear from the date we adopted this, 12 months from that date. I didn't hear that in the discussion last night. It was in the document. Nobody discussed it. Because I want to make sure we got time to do this correctly the first time. Any questions or discussion on the data center moratorium?
Just
Yeah.
the highlighted one where it talks about we need to give them a section number. I was thinking section 3.115, under administration and enforcement might be a good fit. Do you guys agree, or would you recommend another section? Like where would that moratorium go in the zoning ordinance? That the attorneys left that to ourselves to decide where would it go.
Well, again, since we have a public hearing, we need to do that tonight either.
No.
Oh, I was just asking for it because in the public hearing notice, we need to specify the section number.
Which section did you think?
I'm thinking section 3.115, like the new section in administration and enforcement.
Why not in, we put the solar in 12.11 blah. Because
Yeah,
my,
that makes sense.
so my
It's a
understanding.
use regulation.
It's a, yeah, it's a use regulation.
Makes sense.
And my understanding is once we're done with this moratorium, then we'll cancel this, and if we have an ordinance, we'll put it in there.
Right.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Perfect sense,
Well,
actually.
somebody,
12.120.
You just said section 12.
Section 12, Article 12, Section 12.120. So that would be right after large solar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you.
Thanks, good. Whoever brought that up, good suggestion. And where to put it.
well, that's a good point, you have to put it in the notice.
Gotta put it somewhere, yeah. Thanks, Sheree. Any other comments, suggestions before we seek a motion to have that public hearing also? Somebody like to make a motion?
Is there one written here?
No.
I do.
No. Well,
Okay.
Kate's gonna make it.
I move to hold a public hearing at our next meeting on May 20th for the temporary moratorium for data centers and battery energy storage systems, which is 26 ZTA 03.
Second.
Second, George. Discussion?
Section number?
12.120.
I did not say it though, so.
Oh,
That had section number.
section 12120.
Okay.
12.120. Sorry, 1.120, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you read that again, please?
I move that we hold a public hearing on May 20th, 2026 for the temporary moratorium for data centers and battery energy storage systems for 26 ZTA 3, which will be in Article 12, Section 12.120.
Second.
Second is George. Discussion? Roll call, please. We'll start on this side this time.
Rick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Rick, you're messing me up over here.
I thought he was going to introduce himself.
While we're on this topic, before we move on to this specific, Paul supplied some additional notes from the workshop on data centers that he attended. He also got the slide, I think, from MTA that we sent around. There had been a note floating, and I'm not sure where it came from. I forget. For somebody to come in here and train us on data centers and moratoriums. My personal feeling is that enough of us have, I've attended two, and a Zoom meeting with the guy in Iowa, and the MTA conference. And then the second one, third one, so I've been to three. I know at least a couple people here have been to at least two. Do we think we need that additional input from somebody?
I thought it was training just about data centers, not necessarily moratoriums for data
Right,
centers.
data centers, but I mean,
So, but do we understand what data center is and what are the issues?
Well,
and-
if somebody read the slides, yes.
So there's also Scioto Township has taken a different approach. Instead of a moratorium, they've written a zoning ordinance. Paul shared an early version of that. Now they have a more final one.
Right.
And it has a lot of information in there about if you were to have one, what you would want to think about.
Well, and those are the resources we would look at to draft ours, I'm sure,
Um,
during our, you know, our work, but, I mean, I need somebody to come and tell us what a data center is.
I don't think so. And I say that because all those presentations and stuff have been provided to everybody.
Right.
So if you weren't in them, you had an opportunity to look at it, or still have the opportunity.
And the stuff has been
The
distributed.
information has been shared.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't think so.
Okay. I just wanted to get a consensus before.
So could I then ask a question? So that
Sure.
if we're not gonna like talk about what are data centers and what are the issues or the concerns to start with, or are we still gonna talk about that? We just aren't gonna have someone else come to talk about it. We have the information,
We do.
we'll talk about, you know, what do we
And we can
understand, what
get
are we
it
concerned
pronounced.
about?
We can get a printout of Scioto churches or Scioto Township's thing and have that as,
But I mean, in terms of discussion, I'd like us to talk about what we understand and what are we concerned about, based on all that information that we already have, to have a discussion here in this group.
oh, yeah, well, after our moratorium thing, then we put it on our agenda and have that discussion.
Yeah, okay, so we're still gonna have the discussion.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I'm good then.
I just wasn't looking for somebody to come in and go, here's a data center. It's like, yeah,
So I was planning on doing the introduction memo like I always do, introducing the text amendments. I can go into that, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, this is not like we're not gonna, we're just gonna, no, we gotta do our due diligence like we always do, absolutely.
No, I wasn't sure whether, or if the planning commission's planning on doing the discussion based on the slides or the memo, because I was planning on doing a memo summarizing the information. Because Paul and I had a quick conversation with our attorney. I think what Sayo did, like Kay, you summarized it well. If we wanted to, what to do when we have the one, we can also ask the question, do we want to have one? Then figure out how we want to regulate it.
And I also had another question for Paul. So some of the things listed here, I know this is from the county commissioners, but so Dan Brown sent me the actual law that describes the incentives that these companies have to follow to get the incentives. And just for example, the law for incentives does not require that they source 100% of their energy from wind, solar, battery, or geothermal. It only encourages them to do certain things. So my question was, even though the county commissioners have said this, does this override the state law giving those companies incentives? So,
It's a good question. It's similar to land division. We just need to, I need to review the state law to see if the state law says these are the basic guidelines. You can have restrictive standards.
I can send you what Dan Brown sent me. He sent me a link to it.
Right.
It's the, yeah.
One keyword for a second, they recommend, they don't mandate.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a recommendation by the Washington County Board of Commissioners, these items.
Yeah. So, but I think we should understand the difference between what's required by the state and what these are. I mean, so there is a difference.
In our conversation with Chris, he's been through this, sounds like several times from multiple townships,
Good.
and essentially hand us an ordinance already written, and then we would look at it and modify it to our township if we need.
Yeah, I think
Same
there
with
are.
battery energy storage systems.
He kind of did say that, but before he does that, he did ask, us to do a general conversation to see which ordinance we want, because they have different versions based on what the community wants.
Yeah.
Some are more open to them because they want the tax base, some don't want them at all. And they drafted an ordinance for that community so that it doesn't look like an exclusionary zoning. And then some communities are like hesitant, but they want to, have some thresholds. So there are different levels of ordinances they have, so it's not like one should, like, it's not like they have one that everybody can use as a base and go over. He said the planning commission still needs to have the first couple of discussions, figure out what we want, and then start working on the language.
Since he has that background, can he give us a grid of the pluses and minuses of those various approaches?
So
And
that's,
that would be a good,
That would be awesome.
we could go look, yes, no, yes, no, no, yes, based on the type of ordinance, so that we wouldn't have to read 1,000 different things, but we'd get the basics to lead our discussion, like a bullet point, yes, no, yes, no.
I can ask him, but I think that's pretty much what Mike was referring to last night when he said I can have Chris come and provide a presentation, because I understand the MTA, all those data center trainings are kind of like overview general, but they don't talk specifically about what we need to know as a township. And that's the guidance only our attorney can provide and the planning commission can decide, which is similar to the ZBA trainings. We have a lot of trainings by MTA that are available for ZBA, but still I created a custom-made one for us because some have 4 standards of review, some have 6, we have 9. So I think that's what Mike was referring to when he said I can have our attorney come do a joint presentation for board and the planning commission, so that essentially that grid. And I mean, we don't have to have an attorney come in and do the presentation. I can ask for the grid, but I'm just giving you the context. That's what.
I'm not saying no, it's just the more people we have in the room asking questions of the attorney, the more opportunity there's going to be for that discussion to go directions that's not going to allow us to be focused. And that's my concern. And as I recall, it's our job to draft an ordinance to take to the board. And we've had it happen before where some board members have come to us and said, you should do this. And that's not how this is supposed to work, as I recall, but I could be wrong. And so I really would like it to be our working group and our independent work. Not that I don't want to join in with that, I mean, but a grid I think could be really helpful. Kay has done some of that in her work, and it's very helpful because we can go through it and understand the different points.
I think that kind of sort of a decision guiding grid would be really helpful. Yeah. Because it focuses our discussion then.
Right, right. You okay with that? Can you talk to Chris about that? Thank you.
Yeah, one additional comment. From the training, they talk about everything here, data centers are very negative amongst everybody. That isn't necessarily true in areas of the state or the country where populations are decreasing, people are moving out of that area, and there's excess water, there's excess power in that area that's being unused and untapped. A data center would be welcomed by that type of community because data center will provide a lot of infrastructure for it. She said, particular areas that have ancient infrastructure, like Detroit. All their sewer systems are ancient, and they've lost a lot of population. They probably got a lot of power and extra water. Yeah, so it might be welcome there to improve their infrastructure, not put a big burden on their municipal water and their municipal power, right? Because there's excess as the population has moved out of that area. So that's just a comment that every area won't be negative about this. It might be positive.
Sure.
Who wants something like this?
Well, Dan Munsell, who was not here last night, I want to get up and ask, leases out these towers, that's his job. So he knows how much power is on these high tension lines going through our township. And I was told, not by Dan, but by somebody else, that whatever this high tension line is that's running back here is actually exactly the line that the data center guys like. And it's the right voltage or wattage or whatever's going through it. And it was like, oh really? And he goes, oh yeah, they like that line. It's like, oh, hey Dan, tell us more.
Well, that was exactly one of my questions for us for for starting out is which lines that go through our township would be appropriate or of interest for battery energy storage systems or data centers. So Ypsilanti Township basically said, their local government said, okay, data center, but put it here in this brown site, not in pristine farmland. So it would be useful to know where exactly that might be.
Well, let's see, we have another resource here. People forget that Bill Sinkle is the PC chair in IPSI.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, Bill, you're already halfway down this road,
yeah.
you know?
So can we find out, is there an expert we can, I don't want to poke the bear, but can we find out which big power line would be of interest in Webster Township and where that goes for data centers?
That could be Dan.
Could be Dan, who knows that,
He knows what's running around.
yeah.
Just ask around. So I am attending a national planning conference this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's happening in Detroit this time. Usually it's in a different state, but it's in Detroit. And 4 of the sessions are about actually drafting a data center ordinance over there. And it's filled with planners from all over US. So I'm going to pull all of them.
Good. They can add to our grid.
But
And-
I'll also check with them.
Anything else on that topic, team? Seeing that, we know what we're doing, I think. Next is 15C, compliance permits. Sri has a review, and this goes back a ways from August, actually, so would you want to update us on the current, whatever the current standard is?
So, like I said, it's been waiting in the pipeline, but I was able to sit down with Tony and have penciled in when these will go on the board packet in the next couple of weeks. But because they've been just waiting for a long time, I thought it might be a good idea to just bring it back to refresh our memories, review that, and make sure we are good with the draft before it goes. So the idea is if it's minor changes, like, we missed an A or a period or clarifying the sentence without changing the intent, it doesn't require another public hearing. So we can make some limited changes to it. And also in the memo, last time when the Planning Commission forwarded this to the board, they also had some comments that they wanted me to make before I put that draft in the packet, which is what in my memo. And it also went through the attorney review after it left your table. So this one's just summarizing comments that were provided by the Planning Commission at the last meeting before the recommendation was made, and the attorney. So I just wanted to make sure we're all good with it so that I can just send a clean copy to the board.
Anybody has any comments?
Page 43, 77, F3, and this is a grammar thing. So I'll read this sentence. It says, a registered survey prepared by a licensed surveyor, engineer, or similar professional to verify compliance with minimum dimensional standards. Take out a survey there. Okay, dimensional standards may be required in addition to either a plat plan or a site plan. Just take out the word a survey, and then it's a complete
It's
sentence.
not a sentence, yeah, you're right. Good catch, thank you.
Registered?
Just after standards, take out the period and the words a survey.
Oh,
And it's a good sentence.
Yeah.
It says the same thing.
Period, thanks.
I'm actually confused about the lawyer's comments, even like on 41. So MK is the lawyer, right?
yes.
There's a green highlight, and it says shall issue an exemption. Did the lawyer change that, or are they just trying to clarify?
One moment, let me just
Oh, sorry,
complete
I'm
this
on
note.
page 41.
41.
Page 41.
41C, the last sentences, over on the right-hand side, in green, it says issued as a matter of right, and then the shall issue an exemption is highlighted. It looks like the same wording to me. He's
Oh.
just making a comment?
He's making a comment. He was just, I think he was affirming, acknowledging, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
He wanted to, when I spoke to him, he just wanted to make sure that if we have a process set for issuing an exemption, and then we do. And they're very popular.
Okay.
So that's just a comment. He's like, yeah.
So are the rest of these all comments, or which ones of these actually have resulted in a change?
So, everything that's blue and underlined is a change from what you've seen.
Okay.
They are, 80% of them are made by the attorney, some are from the minutes from your last meeting. And when he thought it makes sense, he added an additional note as why he made the change or asked a question, but,
So all these things are just notes, and we look at the text then?
right. The notes are more like reference to the changes he made, but yes, everything in blue and underlined is an addition by the attorney, and everything that's red and crossed out is an omission by the attorney.
And then on 42, that you're saying in the yellow there that you haven't done that one yet. It says,
Yes.
as zoning prior to compliance, that was in our minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, if we approve this tonight, when is it going? The board already has this, correct?
So if we approve it today, tonight, I think May is when you're going to place this on the agenda.
So we won't see it before it goes to them.
If you want to see it, then I can bring it back to you in May, and then we can put it on board's agenda in
No,
June.
it's just one of those things where procedurally, we talked about this before, about the board, we don't see the final draft when it goes to the board.
Right. So I was just saying as soon as possible, as soon as May, because Tony promised this is the next one that's going to go on the agenda from a zoning perspective.
Isn't the final draft on page 49?
I'm sorry?
Isn't the final draft start at page 49?
Uh-huh.
With the exception of what I just said, that's the final draft, correct?
It is?
And the
Isn't it?
changes that she still has to make on page 50.
Yeah.
Okay. So 49 starts with, it's the.
Wait,
it's
yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah. Sorry, thanks, Paul. Yes.
That's clean.
So I provided both copies.
We're making changes.
If you make changes,
Only the one.
yeah, only that one. So remove dot A survey.
Yeah.
Right.
If you make more changes, then yes, I can bring back another clean copy. But if that's the only change, if you're comfortable, then 49 is where the clean copy starts.
Okay.
Like, if you accept all the changes provided in here, that's the clean copy.
Okay,
That's the clean copy.
I'll take that out, yes.
on I, permit review, the preliminary certificates of zoning compliance all should be capitalized.
What page?
Page 44.
Under I?
It was a comment we made back, we
Yeah.
reviewed it back in September.
Yeah.
And where are you, Julie? What-
I am on page 44,
Yeah.
under I, permit review, second line, preliminary certificates of zoning compliance.
Oh, so you're talking about capitalizing.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that one must have gotten missed. The other,
Yeah.
the others
Yeah.
got done.
Capitalized it, not a definition.
I have now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit different. This looks really funny on the screen. I don't know what you're seeing. This transparency.
Yeah, what's happening?
We want to be transparent in everything we do. And it certainly is transparent.
Seriously,
This one gets changed in,
Well, in the final draft.
Read it. Say it.
Anytime you do technology, it'll do it to you.
We've been hacked.
I saw a line thing last night about, talking about that check with that,
I'm shocked.
yeah. I'm sorry, this is out with the minutes, but apparently a check that the.
Somebody got a hold of a check that.
One of the township
sent
checks.
out And basically remade it. At a higher number,
Oh, jeez.
In the bank cash.
It happened to the road
Paid.
commission before.
paid to Richard
Yeah, I love
Nixon
Yeah, paid to Richard Nixon.
on Easy Street.
Apparently, that's actually exists.
Easy Street doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah,
It's
it's
one of
in
the-
our,
I thought
Most
that's a joke too.
Yeah, but
One of the
Richard
most
Nixon
stolen
would come
signs
along.
around.
hey, don't mess with my uncle.
I had one like Julie's, it was in the minutes.
Mhm.
It's on page 47, section 3.95A, and the minutes said, capitalize, and then also add preliminary prior to certificate of zoning compliance. So on the third line there, I think this is saying it's supposed to be 18 months of the date a preliminary certificate of compliance is issued. That's what it said in the minutes that are on here, on page 37.
Right. There it is. Yeah. Oh, it's back up.
Did you get that one, Mark?
Back on page 44, K, validity of approval. On the second line, I had a note that we had capitalized the C in certificate.
Where are you, Julie, which one?
Page 44K.
Okay.
I have highlighted.
Under number, what?
K.
I know which one, K. Oh, just the, oh,
The
I'm
blue
sorry.
page.
I'm reading the old numbers. Sorry.
And what did you want?
The C in certificate capitalized.
Is it in my, where I'm looking, it is capitalized, so I
Yeah.
can't find
Yeah, it
it.
is.
Sorry.
No, that one,
Second line.
Where
In the
is it?
second line.
the highlighted at the end of the,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, capitalized, thank you.
And then on page 46, 2C, platted subdivisions. On our last version, that whole section was removed. And now it's back.
the platted subdivisions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, same page, under B.
So, have we resolved that, or?
Should we leave it or not?
I think that is true, because we don't do platted subdivisions.
Right,
Okay,
that's why I got removed.
I think that was a man pointed it out.
Yeah.
removed, yeah. Thank you.
And then on B, issuance of final certificate, it should be final certificate of zoning compliance. We have added the word zoning
Yeah, missed it there.
in the title of B. Right, yeah.
Oh, down here in 390.
It says it right after the title.
Right. B.
And say that again, because I found it,
It's just right there, B.
yeah.
That's all it does, it makes it.
What's,
It doesn't have
what is it?
zoning, the word zoning.
Issue
The
of
zoning-
zoning
It does,
certificate?
that's
Like
Final certificate of zoning compliance.
The master site.
You need to vote zoning as the final,
Certificate there,
and the title.
In the title.
yeah.
That should final certificate of zoning.
And that's the end of my comment.
Anybody else? With those changes, on a clean draft, are we okay to take it to the board next month, or do you want to see?
Go to page 44. Just above K. So you see certification. If we're gonna capitalize certificate in K, we should capitalize it there, every certificate. In that sense too, shouldn't we?
Right before the cross-out starts.
Yeah.
Certificate, capitalized.
Right.
So it's, is it before
It's just a
J
sense of
four?
line. It's,
Combined with
yeah, should be there too.
Once a good term person tells you you gotta change it.
And then I have a note right there, as well the changes.
And also in J four,
Which is K, yeah. And J4, and K.
Not that K.
No.
That K.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? So back to my original question, with these changes, do we want to see a final draft, or are we okay? Or, I mean, the only thing that was really something that I wanted to see, that the yellow in the box update. But if you guys are comfortable,
I'm comfortable with it.
so
I have another question now. I am comfortable with it, but my question is, similar to the, before we put an announcement in the paper, how multiple eyes review it.
right.
My question would be, is, I'm gonna throw Julie on the bus. So, or onto the bus. Since you're very good at the grammar stuff, my question would be is, I'm good with this, and then prior to putting it in the board packet, if Julie could review it, since you're pretty good at picking this stuff out, and then be done with it.
Just have one person.
Just have one person,
One
Julie
person
and
gets
Tom
go through
do
a
it.
double check.
no, just have one person do it,
Mhm.
so we can keep this ball rolling.
I think that's good, if
That's
anybody's
good. I appreciate
Then you can
up
use
for
the
doing it.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
With that, are we okay?
We
for
did throw
Julie?
you on the bus.
Do we do this before, yeah, before the May, or do we want to see that draft back here, move it to June? To the
I'm
board?
happy with Julie reviewing it too, just to have a second pair of
Okay.
eyes.
Okay. So, may I have a motion to send this to the board with our revisions?
So moved.
Can you please say a motion?
So moved. You can, off the agenda.
Yeah, okay, I don't know what I move to send the compliance permit process and standards to the board. That would be 25 ZTA 02 for their review with our edits.
With changes as discussed.
Yeah.
With changes as discussed. Second,
second.
George, discussion?
Section numbers.
Why did you?
No, that's okay, because it's not a public hearing.
My hearing's not bad. What did she say, ZTA what?
03.
Okay, so
O2.
It's O two.
02.
Wait, but
This one's 02.
the memos,
At least it says on the agenda 02.
It says O2 on
One's
the
O
agenda.
three here, memorandum.
Oh.
It says O3 in the memorandum, which one are we doing?
Which one is it? 03 was the moratorium.
No, that was 26.
That's 26, this is 25.
Maybe we better say the section number.
Yeah,
It's 02 on your list.
Okay, all of them.
but it's 03 on the memo.
O2 on the list, I would go with O2.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it is on the table in your notes.
so it's really 02?
Yes.
Okay. Other old business? Yeah. Pardon me? Oh, that's right, we've done. Okay, we got a memo, a motion, we got a second, we had discussion, now we need to vote. What? You don't want to vote?
No.
You can abstain.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I want to start with you just because.
I knew he was gonna do that.
George?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried, and send it to the board for the May 20th meeting. Oh, boy, okay. On to 15, the accessory uses in structures. This is another one that's been in the board's hands for a little while. Sheree, do you want to bring us up to date on what we're looking at again?
Yeah, one of the comments with the
Yeah.
changes, colors, please.
The last time we looked at this, I think this was
So
June
this one,
of 24.
the attorney made quite a few edits, but the edits are not changing the intent, but it's just he thought this is more easy to understand or less confusing for interpretation. And then some couple of clarifications as, you know, that either we stick with lot or parcel, building or structure is what we're trying to do. So everything that's blue and underlined is a new change since you last saw it. And everything red and crossed out is a omission since you last saw it. So we did have a good conversation before he started reviewing it. After he reviewed it, I did indicate to him that the biggest changes we are making in this draft is the discussion of allowing sleeping and living in. I'm sorry, Jeff, just put this in front of me, now I feel like I'm distracted. The meeting in my head.
If you
You're
spend
doing
time,
fine,
you
I know
know,
what files, don't worry about it, there is no trouble.
You can't talk.
that's why men
I
have
can't talk
pockets.
because I started to.
I thought you were talking great.
Okay, I'd like to call a recess for everybody to put a washes in their mouth.
So that I don't feel alone. It's on me, not on you.
I put one in too, so.
So I did indicate to him that one of the biggest challenges we have, not challenge, but biggest point of discussion was allowing sleeping in detached or attached accessory dwellings, and then that we wanted to introduce the affidavit so that we put responsibility on the property owner to pass that information to the next buyer, future buyer. And then I also explained to him how we had divided public input when we had the public hearing. You know, some of the lake house people who came in, they appreciated the idea to allow for family to come and stay with them because their houses are small. And then at the same time, we had other half of the lake house people who didn't want that because that might open the door for Airbnbs or rental facilities. So I asked attorney to put a little bit of emphasis on that so that we are able to achieve our goal, and still provide some protections to make sure they don't turn into motels or Airbnbs. So he did pay attention to that. And then I also asked him how we had the back and forth, the roundabout discussion over attached versus detached when we have not an enclosed patio, but then a covered patio structurally attached to the building, but then we are considering that as a detached accessory structure. I so explained that to him as well, that was a big topic of discussion. And then I think he added some notes and then he clarified a couple of things, but then he did say that the ordinance says if it's not defined in the ordinance, then we refer to the dictionary. But it doesn't say that we cannot have standards that may appear contradicting to the dictionary meaning of attached versus detached, as long as we explain how that's addressed. So he said in this situation, when you have a roof, when you have a breezeway with a roof but not enclosed attached to a structure, we can still consider that detached for the purposes of regulating the height. He said that's okay. And then other comments are just his version of why it makes sense to say it in a different way. And and then he removed some language which he thought doesn't make, we don't need to repeat things because those are covered under the building department, like item C2, where we talk about the agricultural accessory buildings. He removed quite a bunch of them. He said that, just keeps it simple. We have an affidavit. The affidavit covers all those points. And so, yeah. So we can go page by page and just see what you think about it, if Tom thinks that's a good idea. Because the changes are extensive, it might make sense to go page by page.
Explain the colors again, so if it's red, the lawyer scratched those out, or we did it in our last meeting?
There were a few comments, you did it in the last meeting, that also are covered in that, but most of them are by the attorney.
We just referred to 2C, B, and E, but there's no lawyer bullet aimed at that. Is that our changes, or the lawyer changes?
So our changes are these ones that were in the memo, A to Z. So though if they are just a couple of minor changes saying, capitalize C or add this as a sentence or ensure do this. So all those were captured in the underline in blue and the red and cross out. Anything beyond these are provided by the attorney.
Even if he doesn't have a comment attached to it?
Right.
So why did he cross all those out?
The two A, B, and C's.
So there's A and B is still there, or there's C, but he crossed out 3 of them?
Right, I think particularly that one, because it's an agricultural building and, with the right to farming thing, that he thought it's good to keep it simple. And then when we have the affidavit of use, which a draft was provided to you at the planning commission meeting, that would cover all those items. And then those are also same ones that covered by the Washtenaw County Building Department when they issue an exemption, so he was suggesting keep it simple.
So on this page, I do have a comment on, I'm on page 63.
Okay.
C,
Mm-hmm.
where it says vacant parcels without dwelling. Well, a lawyer took out the word dwelling, even though the title of it is without dwelling, and replaced with structure. So let me tell you why this is here, because I was around when we wrote this.
was probably, from what I understand in his comment, he was more thinking about keeping it either building or structure. But I think we should bring back the word dwelling, even though we have that in the heading. I see your point.
Yeah.
We should bring back the word dwelling.
That's why that section exists.
So you're just concerned about any dwelling, not building back in. So it'd be a dwelling and structure.
Just go back to how it was before.
Yeah,
Yeah, but-
Reject the edit.
yeah.
But this says we don't know.
It's gonna not do this thing, so it's gonna go back to the way. So it's in principal dwelling and building.
And the original was dwelling building, it wasn't dwelling, comma, building.
Dwelling building.
It was dwelling
Dwelling
building.
building.
That's probably what it should be.
How much should be there?
It was, principal dwelling building, comma, structure, comma, or use being constructed.
That's a little wordy.
Yeah, maybe it'll be the building as well.
So I'm gonna say if we just did dwelling, it's sort of implicit that the dwelling is a building unless it's a tent. But in the definition, we talk about foundations.
I
So,
think, for example, ag districts are R1, the principal use is a dwelling. So even if you say principal building, it refers to a dwelling because it's one of the permitted uses, is what he was trying to say, but it doesn't hurt to say both.
Dwellings all throughout this, so.
yeah,
Right.
it's consistent, right?
Yeah.
This would be for
Yeah, if you-
planning.
I'm sure you got, if you could look at them and come back the next time we look at the rest, we'll just,
It
Yeah.
says we don't know.
no. Martha's got a good point. So right at the beginning of that, see, it says vacant parcel without a dwelling.
But that's what I'm saying, it's there, but it doesn't hurt to just re-emphasize.
Reiterate.
Read.
Okay. Got it. So back to the other question that was asked under 2. Feels there's no need to replace all of that struck language. Okay.
Those are put in there because those are the exact things that somebody was doing. They're using,
No.
they're running out of space in the land. They have a manufacturing process, you know, they're, sometimes those land is put in there.
Right, but I think he was just trying to be a little, from what he indicated, because I asked him the same question, he's like, we're gonna have those in the affidavit, but I said, if it's in the affidavit, people who are reading the zoning ordinance don't have access to the affidavit, how do they know that they can do all those things? But just because the bona fide agriculture purposes has so much correlation with the right to farm act and everything, he just wanted to keep that simple.
It's enforceable without that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not opposed to leaving it in just for clarification, sort of from her point. So the lawyer wants it out for simplicity, but we've talked about that before in this body. If somebody looks at an ordinance, you're giving them the easy guidelines. They don't have to go someplace else to find something.
Right.
Sort of to your point, Paul, if that was in there for a purpose in the beginning, we're taking it out. Are we removing specificity that creates a difficulty for the applicant?
Just want to correct, if it looks like you might have misunderstood. It's not just a matter of simplicity, it's also he's trying to avoid any unintentional conflicts with right to farm.
Okay. Well, my question was actually on number 3.
Okay.
Is there any way to simplify that paragraph? That's the most wordy,
I have
confusing.
no idea what number 3 says.
I don't
I've read it 10 times.
Yep.
I have no idea what it
It
says.
has the same phrase about 10 times in there, and it's like.
I don't know what it's saying.
If somebody could think about just, when you read this, or the attorney's looking at it, simplify it, I think.
I think it serves the purpose for me. All what it is saying is if you have 2 properties adjacent to each other owned by the same person, and and then the person has a house on parcel A, he can build an accessory structure on parcel B, even though parcel B is vacant, because he owns both of them. But what they're saying is, if you ever decide to sell parcel B, which means that parcel B may have a different owner, they have to bring that into compliance before selling.
I understand that.
I think that's what-
Should that be broken into 2 sentences, or 2 paragraphs then?
Okay, I can break it down
One
to,
would be the original owners, and then the second, B would be the 2.
I can do that.
Would be the second lot, so you're dealing with 2 different lot situations, because the way it is now, I got lost with which is actually the first residence, the second lot, the first lot. It sort of was mushing together in my little mind.
So what we can do is, if you're looking at the,
Yeah, goodness. What was she talking
okay, so what we can do is, we can say an accessory structure on the parcel is subject to the dwelling, subject to the following.
Yeah, maybe it's bullet points, or maybe it's.
Right, so we can say the first sentence, at the end of the word dwelling in the first sentence, we say subject to the following. And we move those as sub-bullets.
Okay. So they'd be like A, B, and C or something? Yeah.
That, you know, then they're broken down into A, B, and C.
That works for me. It's a little, you can consume it in
Yeah.
chunks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, George. Oh, it was just me.
On my list.
Anything else on that page? 64, 77. Yeah, I forget how 5 got in there. I know why it struck, but why was that in there, Paul? You might have a reference on that.
Which one?
What page is that?
Page 7 of 7, page 64 of our packet.
You said 5.
Yeah,
So
state
number 5
licensed
right there.
residential.
Well, it's item 5 up at the top of the page. The state licensed residential facility buildings
Oh, the
may
one
be
you moved.
permitted without a dwelling. But doesn't that sort of get back to your comment earlier?
Well, state law forces you to allow this.
Right.
So if there's a vacant lot and they put up this type of structure, you don't have to have a residence there because this state law mandates that you allow this.
And so that's why I wondered why it was struck.
Maybe it's somewhere else in the ordinance.
He didn't leave a comment, but I think I remember he indicated that because it's a state law, when somebody who goes to applies for that, I don't remember actually, I don't want to jog my half memory.
Regardless of where it is, I didn't read it anywhere else in the document, so my question is,
It's
if
not
it's a
there.
state law, then shouldn't we leave it in?
I would leave it out.
Leave it out?
Yeah.
And let
I mean, if
somebody-
somebody's looking for an exemption, they'll already know that that's the case.
Okay.
It's in our, that's a permitted use in that district, right?
Yeah, I think, doesn't, we're not saying anything that's contradicting with the state law, leaving it there is at least telling people that, you know, if,
That's sort of where I was coming from. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I get back to somebody looking at this, at least it goes, hey. And we're not adding any complexity to the document.
Isn't it a dwelling though? I mean, that's the
It would
point.
be, no, that's, but but it doesn't need a dwelling, that's the point.
But it is a dwelling.
oh, that's probably why, I'm sorry.
Well,
I think it's listed
And
as
it's a
public-
residential facility, it's a dwelling.
Yeah. So I think it's listed as a permitted use.
Permitted use.
That's why he said, okay, that's why we remove.
Okay, so,
Yes,
okay,
keep it in, leave it out.
gotcha. Any other comments on page 64 of our 77 pages?
Yeah, I got one. I got 64, under 2 at the bottom, says detached accessory 2A2, connected only by a
Oh,
breezeway.
unless you're watching British TV and they always put in words that you don't.
What are we doing?
It's a singular, it's and.
It's A, not A.
We're down here.
Here we are.
A, you want an A, not an N, not.
You know, that brings up interesting. In the ZBA hearing years ago, we had this very same question. We had a lawyer there, and it was attached or detached. So a lot of times, years ago, when we had a question, a lot of times we had to go to the dictionary to see what the different words mean. Attached means connected to. So if you have a roof and a floor and everything else from one to the other, it's connected. Now here you're saying it's detached. Now if you have a lot of the reasons you have detached garage from the house that's 10 feet away, it has to be at least 10 feet away. It's if you have a fire, it's, hopefully they can keep it from getting into the main house. This, if it's attached with a roof, that fire can go across into the main house. I still have a problem when this attached or detached because we had a lawyer at that meeting and the lawyer says if you have a 2x6 connected to the garage and the other end hooked to the house, it's attached. Now that's the lawyer's interpretation. Now I know you guys are interpreting totally different and I don't care how you go with it anymore. I don't want to argue with it anymore, but my thing is if it's got a roof fastened from the garage to the house, it is attached. And that's what the dictionary says. If it's connected, it's attached. And like I said, a lot of times we, at the ZBA level, we had to go and get the dictionary out to see what the meaning of different words were. And attached means connected to. And I'm not going to argue no more.
And I got the feeling you made this argument in 23.
You did.
That's why we made it to the memo. So it's
I
not
wasn't here.
like this.
You know, plus he's got to abstain because he's a roofer, so he's going to have fun. Sorry, Shirley.
No, I think it's, feels like deja vu, but I think we said an accessory structure is considered detached. We're not saying it's detached, we're saying it's considered detached for the purpose of this section. But I'll leave it up to the planning commission members.
We'll give him
All
some-
we're saying, all we're trying to determine that so that we can identify whether the structure can have a 40-foot height, maximum height, or whether the structure can have a 25 feet high.
I recall that conversation over many meetings. My point of view at this point is this is fine. Sorry, Rick. We'll still be friends.
Rick and I are best friends.
Anything else? Well, I'm just going to move on to 65. We're done with 64.
I'm still kind of confused with if it's an enclosed breezeway.
You weren't here. This is
considered
3
detached?
years of discussion.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious.
Okay, so I think the reason why we had to go through that is because the current ordinance,
3. I don't want to know.
Oh,
Is it
I-
considered attached or detached if it's an enclosed breezeway? That's all.
Attached.
attached.
It is considered attached.
If it's enclosed.
If it's
enclosed.
enclosed. So if they put walls on the breezeway,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
because it's kind of continuance of one wall.
Correct.
Right.
Gotcha, okay, that's
So,
all I
yeah,
need.
we have that in the
I
image.
don't need to know why.
That's on cut 65.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
No, that's good. I'm glad.
Okay, go ahead, Tom, sorry.
It's Friday. You were here late last night, I don't want to make you stay. George is going to vote at 9:30 to quit. Hey, we have trends, they're established. Anything else on 64? On page 65 of 77.
So before any comments on that, I just wanted to bring your attention to this one comment the attorney made, which I thought, oh, yes, how did we miss that?
On what page?
On page 65. Right? Yeah, 65. Under prohibited uses, 2B, the zoning administrator may permit use of a part or all of an attached accessory structure. He said, do you want it to, I thought, isn't the intent attached and detached? We may have missed that. I think we didn't mean to, or did we say we're allowing sleeping only if it's attached, but not if it's detached?
I recall we had this discussion if it's not attached.
So I couldn't remember, I have to be honest, I didn't know if we put that word attached on purpose? Or did the planning commission decide to allow it for both attached and detached?
Yes to the latter, is my
Yeah,
recollection.
I thought sleeping was only allowed if it's attached.
Right.
Okay,
That was my
Yeah,
memory
remember we had
of
that
the
whole
inclusion.
discussion
Oh,
about
yeah, we had a lot of
exterior.
discussion.
Yeah, we have, you know, how do you get in and out
Yeah,
thing, do you
yeah.
have an exit over here, do you have?
okay, perfect, so that was intentional, we didn't need, okay.
It was.
He asked me and then I was like,
Anything else, team, on 65? Julie, no comment, commas, capitalizations?
I ran out of time.
Okay, that's good.
do you want me to break this down into bullets too, like I did with the other one? Like subject to conditions and that paragraph into bullets?
Which page is that?
So this
2B.
one,
To be.
yeah, like trying to start a fuse would be one.
Well, maybe so, because there are two topics in there. One is the approved, and
Right.
the other is not approved. So yeah, maybe that's not a bad idea.
Okay,
I think it would help with clarity.
clarity,
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
So it's just the same language, I'm just going to break it down to bullets.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to bring that to attention before.
Okay, to go on to page 66 then.
If you don't have any other comments in 65.
Right. I asked, and nobody raised their hand.
66.
The only comments that are on this from last time, there's blue halfway down, evidence constitutes violation.
Mhm.
And then, I don't know why, well, he had added setbacks to the hanging blinds, but
He didn't add, he was asked if, he made a comment that you indicated it cannot be in the setbacks, but we didn't set a size to hunting blinds. So he's pointing out the question that, so can they have 300 square foot hunting blind?
yes.
We intentionally did not.
We talked about this.
We are not going there.
Okay.
No, we're not holding it.
It's just like, you know, it's been over 1.5 years, so I kind of remember that, but I just wanted to get,
You know what I think? All of these lawyers should be required to come and live in the township for which they're consulting for at least a year. Then they would understand the character. Because if they're trying to restrict the hunting blind, it's like, really?
Be careful, they'll restrict fishing chains.
that's, I think he was just doing his part by raising the question. It's us, our prerogative, if you want to.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Anything you want to make comment on that page? Additionally, Sheree?
Is there a definition somewhere of hunting blind?
No.
It's got a
Not
You
in the
missed this
zoning ordinance.
conversation, it was a long, I'm sure it was. I'm not looking at the signs. Purpose. As long as you're not driving your four-wheeler down the street with a spotlight on and your shotgun out the window, you're good.
Let's see what the Webster.
Okay, we okay to move on to page 67?
Yes.
I remember going through this, the lawyer's comments. Sure, can you give us a little insight on where he's going? I mean, I understand what he's doing, but.
Can I be excused really quick? I need to go bring the charger.
You mean you're out of power?
Yeah. The extension cord. Can I?
Okay, call for a recess at whatever time it really is.
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
8:51.
Okay,
5 minutes.
thank you.
This is weird, because I used to be a road warrior, and I spent so many times on the highway where people just, I'll tell you the one that still gets me. If you're on the Ohio Turnpike, there's these big signs up there on the Ohio Turnpike that says, trucks and slower traffic, right 2 lanes. And they're like every couple miles. Invariably, there's a truck in the left lane. And it's like, I should be allowed to shoot that guy, or at least drive him off the road. So here's my theory. You can put this in any new car, and since they've been around forever, it wouldn't be expensive. Every new car gets a paintball launcher. It retrofits to older cars, at your option for like $10. Every month, because you pay your license fee, so it's already built into the license fee, you get a bag of paintballs. And it's random, so one month you get purple, he gets yellow, she gets green, next month you get red. So if you pull up behind a guy, he's just got you flaming.
No,
You hit him with one ball.
Arizona? Yeah.
But if you hit, and the cop won't pay any attention, because it's like, if you hit him with a lot of balls, the cop knows it's not his problem, it's yours. But if a cop pulls up behind a car and he has multiple colors of ball on the back, because that guy is obviously a problem, he has been voted as a
How you
problem.
doing?
Good.
I'm gonna pull him over and give him a ticket. It's a representative form of government. I want to be represented on the highway.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Hey, so, I sent you guys something that I sent the board, in November on land division on the 4 to 1.
We haven't been there yet.
I know, but I'm gonna head out and you guys are only
You're
on
not gonna
66 to 74.
It's,
I sent it to you, I
there's a
sent you guys
subcommittee,
a copy.
there's a subcommittee, if you look at that agenda, the document you were talking about earlier, that's the draft she was talking about earlier with the land division, and it's me and Bill Sinkool and maybe it's not Dan. Anyway, there's 3 of us on it, there's a working group to get that moved forward.
Okay, I didn't know if you guys even
Yeah.
got it or
Yep, we did.
didn't get
So,
it.
yeah, she
And-
did.
And on the data centers,
Saturday.
Yep.
on the data centers, if you guys want to look up Charlie Behrens, he's a comedian from Wisconsin. He does a skit about, he's an advocate, he's not an advocate, he is a proponent against data centers because they've been going up so fast and there's no real legislation on them right now. This whole water usage and power usage and this, well, anyway, he does a skit on that that's pretty to the point.
Okay. Who
Charlie
does this?
Behrens.
Some comedian in Wisconsin.
Oh, Charlie Behrens.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's hilarious.
yeah, but he is really against data centers.
Even that other guy,
Yeah,
Unless they're really big,
God,
you know, or
the other guy did
cut
the
'em
thing
off,
on
you know,
Blackstone.
roots are real big.
You
even
seen
though-
that one?
no, I didn't see that one.
But, you know, my.
But he does stuff with Charlie Behrens.
Yep, and he's in this one.
He does stuff that you might be able to do as a construction worker.
Oh,
call our meeting back into, whatever, at 8:56, according to my Apple Watch, which could be wrong, because the satellites are slowing down. They are.
Even though still, it's magic.
We're back.
So we're on page 67. And Sri, you were going to update us on the lawyer's comments that's in pink.
Yeah.
Before you ran out of batteries.
No, I'm good now, have my thing plugged in. Oh, he was a long-winded way of saying add the section number, which I did.
Oh, so that's it.
That's it?
Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Fine.
But that section number is for
Fences.
Fences.
shared fences possibly, is,
Don't move on to the page. He makes a very good point.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because if you're gonna share a fence with a neighbor, you're both in the setback.
Right.
Because that's ordinance doesn't allow that, right?
Right.
So we need to account for this.
So 13.60
very good point.
allows
What does?
the, so the compliance with the setbacks is, 13.60 says that you can have fences in the setbacks, but residential districts not in the front yard, you cannot be in the setback in the front yard. So that compliance with the setbacks is very limited, in a very limited situation.
So you can't share a fence in the front yard with your neighbor?
Yeah, let me just, to be clear,
Wouldn't think you'd have a neighbor in your front yard.
Okay, it's not so side by side.
No,
That's
side by
right
side,
in the
the real
road.
fence, yeah.
You're sharing with your neighbor, that's your front yard.
so.
Is it the front setback or the front yard?
Based on the house,
I guess it's a side yard setback, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Compromise subdivision.
side yard.
Okay, so setbacks under 13.60 says fences may be located in any required yard and not subject to setback requirements. However, in baseline lake district, fences are not allowed in any yard of lots bordering. I think maybe that's what the reference is, that in some places compliance is required, in VLLR compliance is not required, and anywhere else. So I guess you can have your joint set, the front setback
Okay.
in a district.
All right.
Good.
The only thing I had on that page, down at the bottom, under O, right before a verification and verifying, I don't know whether it's my copy or whether it's actually printed things there, like apostrophes, commas, an equal sign, all kinds of strange little things.
Right
Before
before
the A.
Oh, yeah, it's a,
After request, what's on
Yeah,
that?
it's like a different kind of like language. I don't know if it's just,
it's just gonna be comma, I'll fix that,
it's a comma.
just a comma.
Okay. There's another section in here that has something weird like that with it. A bunch of little things. Does anybody else see anything on the chart?
Oh, I think I know what he's doing. You know how the permit exemption verification request, there's a start of the code in the beginning? So there's a beginning of the code. I had the comma after the code, he put the comma inside the code.
That's what you would do. Why do we need a quote there at all?
Close or close.
But why is there a
And
quote
then
around?
and
Well, why is there a quote around a permit exemption request?
Don't have to be, I
Remove.
Yeah, I
Remove the
remove a
quotes.
quote
I
around
think-
that.
Remove the quote.
yeah.
And it looks like it underlined the comma.
Yeah, okay. Now I understand what's going on.
Remove quotes and just.
He was trying to do it smiling.
Yeah. And 6-point type. Okay, okay to move on to page 68.
Yeah, what's the yellow here?
Why?
Oh, that's just our note, that.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, I did that before every section, that, we're adding this, we're replacing this in entirety, so it's just.
So it's not part of it, it's just a note to us.
Yeah.
Okay. So his comment has already been accommodated in the revisions you made to H3?
Right.
Okay. And again, I don't separated, it's just part of the sentence, isn't it?
Yes. We don't need quotes around that.
Yeah. I mean, you need a comma, after section, comma, physically separated means.
Okay, remove quotes.
Anything else in 13.8? (210) definitions.
So the definition of lodging is new, because I think in your planning commission.
Yeah.
We all agree with his comment about taking out basketball hoops and stuff.
So I thought his comment basically talked in circles and said, if you want to keep it, but then he crossed it out.
So because we kind of covered all those under the table.
So it's in the table.
It's in the table under other, we have ed grade patios, we have tennis
Yes.
courts, basketball, so I'm like,
So it's redundant.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Each taking out redundancies. We all okay with taking out the redundancy?
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, on to page 69 or 77 then? You said what, Sheree, you started
So when planning commission made a recommendation to the board, you made a suggestion to include a definition for lodging, but we didn't actually discuss the language for lodging, so that's there.
And that's because when we talked about short-term rentals, we sort of put it under like motels and bed and breakfast.
Right.
So it's nearly impossible to find it. So if we have this lodging, then it's clear in this section.
So the language is new, so I just want to make sure if you're good with that.
And it needs to be commercial, but, I mean, so it's like Airbnb. I'm not getting into actual Airbnbs, that's not my intent, but. So, transient workers at farms, for example? Or what, how are we looking at that?
So commercial overnight is when you're charging them money for that.
Right.
So seasonal farm workers is the temporary dwelling thing that's under ag
Right.
district, so that's different from lodging. Seasonal workers, they're not paying you to
Okay.
stay there, they're there because they're helping you with the farm.
Well, we include this somewhere else though,
Right.
like motels and,
Back before you were in the planning commission, I think we looked at this and put it in a definition with like motels and
Right.
bed and breakfast. or
right,
something. But if you're looking for, can I rent out my house,
yeah.
like an Airbnb, you can't find that.
Well, no, it's just, but it's in accessory structures,
Yeah, so will
Not-
anybody find it?
not a primary structure. So if I'm reading lodging and it's a motel, that's not an accessory structure.
But it says also here, lodging uses shall not serve as a primary residence.
Right, but it says
So if I
will,
take my primary residence and I don't live there and I just rent it, is that okay?
but it
No.
says it includes motels, hotels, and hostels and bed
Oh.
and breakfasts.
Which we have other things, we have
But that's
that
what, yeah,
elsewhere, I get it now.
that's where I was like, why is this here when we have that other places, another place?
We do have the other places in the definitions.
So we can take the last one off.
Correct, the second sentence is moot, or, I mean duplicate, right?
Yeah,
But the first one's okay, correct?
the first one, and I thought the second one was useful too. Can I own a house, not live there, and just rent it out on a short-term basis?
No. You can rent it out on a long-term basis,
Okay, but not short-term.
not less than 30 days.
Okay. Okay. You guys agree with that? Good. Thanks, Katie. So we're down to portable structures in his comment. So the blue was added like pop-up.
Yeah, he suggested add some examples, and those are the only two things I could think of.
Is there anything else that would be a better?
This section.
Where do we use this in this section, portable structure? Are we saying it's not allowed to be a dwelling, or it's not an accessory structure? What's the context that we have, that we're
So-
using this?
Tiny home?
Under,
Yeah, that's a tiny home.
Right.
But then a pop-up tent is a weird example.
I think that's just a pop-up camper.
Yeah, so I can park my pop-up camper on my property, can I? Just because I have one and I park it there, so
That's what I would think, that's what
So,
our definition.
I think that's a weird
I think
example.
you can park it there. I don't know that you can use it as a.
And I don't know, I mean, even temporary greenhouses, there are a lot of people that do different types of greenhouses. You even see barns that are done out of styrene or whatever plastic they make out of barns, so is that, you know, you drive up 52, there's a couple of them.
so
Is that considered temporary because it's made out of plastic baggy material?
Things that like hoop houses are,
That's what it's called, yeah,
hoop houses.
So we have under table, when we talk about major accessory structures and minor accessory structures, in the parentheses, we'd say portable, permanent, or temporary.
Okay.
So that's why we went back to the definitions and defined portable, temporary, and we defined portable structure, temporary structure, and permanent structure.
For example, the portable one, I just built a couple for my daughter, just structures for animals, put them on skids, you know, hold around the tractor, different fields, another portable structure, so we got space to be in outside in the wind. You know, that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
I know, but in that case, no,
Well, that's an example of portable structure.
right, no, I know.
Portable
We
accessories.
have, yeah. We're gonna deny that?
No, this is.
We're just saying you have to
This is
comply with the
just
setbacks.
Just an example.
Yeah. I just thought
Maybe
these
we
were
need
odd
better-
examples.
Maybe we need better examples. Is that what we're saying? We need better examples?
So I'm
Yes.
actually asking for help if you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
So what is your
Need better
description?
examples.
What do you call that?
It's an animal, what do you call those things? It's a lean-to for animals.
Oh, mobile lean-to,
Yeah,
mobile lean-tos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Portable shelter. I mean,
Portable shelter for animals.
I think the language is fine spelling out.
Yeah, I just
That's
need
what it
these
is.
We
examples.
can remove the examples then.
Yeah.
That way it will give us an
It sounds
opportunity to be
settled.
flexible.
I'm
It's
thinking,
better.
like people build little cabanas, sort of, it's not a porch, it's not attached to your house, but it's like out there, and that's considered a temporary structure.
Right.
But it's not on wheels.
Portable means it can be moved, or it's not, like, you know, it doesn't need to be on wheels, but it can be lifted and moved, like a trampoline.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe that's a good one. That's not
It's
a
trampoline is
structure.
structure. It's not,
No, it's not.
I guess you could camp out underneath it, right? It'd be a fort.
Ice fishing.
So it doesn't have to be something living. Structure could be things that don't live.
Right.
We can remove examples, leaves.
Okay, just, yeah, if we can make a note of better examples. It's a tent.
Yeah, but that's a little one.
Thanks, I appreciate you on that.
Mhm.
Anything else on 69? Clean up the definitions a little. That being the case, we are done with our edits. We are covered in the minutes and Sheree can do them. I think we owe ourselves to look at this before we send it to the board. And there are draft motions in here someplace on page.
It's probably from a previous one, but yeah, we can use that.
We need to talk about hunting lions and
Look up definition, what's the Webster definition?
Oh gee, now it's gonna be on the tape. It's me shooting Jeff with my finger. So on page 61, we have a couple of motions. Yes, we do.
It's from a previous memo, but we can use it.
Well, it'll work there.
That works.
But we want it back though, right? That one refers to sending it to.
Yeah, we want it back.
We
Yeah,
want
we
it
want
back.
to see this.
So I would make a motion, matter of text amendment 23 ZTA 101. A motion is made to postpone the consideration of the proposed amendment to
Discussion? Seeing none, vote. Kay?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you, everybody, for your fine work on that. We do not have any new business tonight, but we do have some discussion items. And Sri is going to update us, or the working committees, going to update us on those. Land division, Sri, I think you started a little bit on that earlier.
So Bill and I went through the ordinance draft, had our notes, and then we had a conversation with Brad Newman, who's the educator at MSU Extension, regarding the amendment that's, the amendment to the state law that has passed. And then we had a good chat with him. We also talked about other things, the ratio, length to depth ratio, and I think now I'm ready to start working on the actual draft and the language for that. For those who don't know or haven't heard, so the state has passed a law that, I should have the numbers remember. Right now, the current Land Division Act puts a cap on how many splits can happen for a certain number of acreage. And then if you reach the limit, then you have to wait 10 years for that limit to reset. Now with the new amendment, there's no cap, there's no reset. You get a certain number of, there's no cap, there's no limit. And what the state said is, law said that you have 1 year. In the meantime, decide how you want to address this in terms of making changes to zoning ordinance, or how you want to address this additional density, because in 1 year, this is not a choice anymore. In between, like it said, if you want to, you can amend your ordinance to allow those unlimited, allow those splits as long as they comply with the zoning ordinance right now. Or if you want to take time, you can wait up to 1 year, but after 1 year, it's not a choice anymore. It becomes a state law. You have to allow additional splits. For example, we have a 10-acre parcel, and if an applicant comes to me, to Bill would look at all the calculation and then say, okay, you have 2 splits left on that parcel. At that point, the applicant is given a choice. You want to go through the land division process, you get only 2 splits, because that's what the Land Division Act allows. If you want more lots, like you can get up to 5 lots, because 2 acres is the minimum for ag. If you want to do 5 lots, then you have to go through a site condo process to get that additional lots. People usually just stick with land division because it's quicker, it's administrative, and you need to get the decision to them by a certain time. Site condo is a longer process, because that gives the planning commission an opportunity to review impacts on density, impacts on natural resources, many other things, stormwater and everything else. But now with this new amendment, people can no longer limit it by 2. If you have 10 acres, you can get 5 splits through Land Division Act without having those checks and balances for impacts on other utilities and other items. So this was an attempt by state to allow for more housing available to people. And they've given a 1 year to figure out how the communities want to address it, and it's a new, now every community is just trying to figure out what to do with it. One way to address it, which they said, which they haven't assessed, but they were just thinking out loud, is you can raise your minimum acreage from 2 to 5. Then that's how you cut, that's how you reduce the number of lots. But that also creates a lot of non-conforming lots, so it's a bigger discussion. It's not as simple as changing the number. So there are pros and cons, there are consequences, there are short-term consequences, long-term. So the state just gave 1 year for communities to figure out how they want to address this additional density.
So I think you're saying if we do something, then we could basically override their limits.
We cannot
But we have
override
to do something.
Yeah. Something in terms of like, we can have some additional standards in the zoning ordinance that is in a different way trying to say, like, but we cannot make the process, they can still choose land division, But a land division ordinance says you need compliance with zoning ordinance, so we try to put some standards in zoning ordinance that protects the natural resources. So it's a longer discussion, everybody's trying to figure out, how to address it. Good thing for us, our master plan is around the corner, so that gives us an opportunity to talk about it.
Well, let me follow up on that then. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But we are not addressing that now with this amendment, because the board's direction is very,
Yeah. we
to
should
existing,
Wait for that.
yeah.
Well, that's exactly where I was gonna go, and I don't think we should wait for that.
No, but our master plan right now talks about how we don't have any municipal services. We need to manage our density. So it would support doing something to say, we need to manage the density so we don't overwhelm our natural resources, water, et cetera.
Right. I can definitely bring, and I apologize for not remembering the actual number, but I will share the slides at the next meeting, then you'll have more data to talk about.
But we should just use the master plan we have now and the situation we have now.
Right, do you?
It could be like a phase 2, but not the phase 1.
Do you, that being the case, we have a working committee on that. Do you
Yes.
think we should meet before our May meeting?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I could just provide them as an FYI because I have the slides.
Get a date for whenever Bill and us get together.
Because that would be like phase 2 of land division.
Right, okay,
But I'm ready to move forward with phase 1, what the
Okay.
board asked us to do.
okay.
But I wanted to just give you guys a heads up because that conversation with Brad was very eye-opening. It's like, what is every other community's doing? And then we asked the same question to Brad, hey, if we increase the acreage, we're creating a lot of non-conforming lots now. Then he's like, yes, obviously we didn't think this through, we're thinking out loud, we are throwing options out there for people to consider.
So for now, we're doing what the board asked.
Right.
Yes.
And I would like not to confuse it with phase 1 and phase 2. Let's just say, we'll talk about the other later.
Okay.
Because I found it very confusing when we did that with all
Okay.
with some of our,
Okay.
because
So we
nobody
just
knew
want
what
to
phase
ask
1
what the
and
board
phase 2
asked.
was.
Okay.
So let's just keep focusing on what it is.
Okay.
We're doing what the board
So
asked.
Bill and I, we want to win that, some meeting dates.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Great.
I'm gonna ask you one question. So your comment was you can do 10 splits and you don't have to wait, there's no time period for
Yeah,
wait.
you don't have to wait 10 years to reset. I can give you the numbers.
So,
They had a maximum of 10.
Yeah.
well, is it 10 splits under 10 acres? Because you could do, today you could do 4 splits under 10 acres and it's made 10 acres, 10.01 acre splits if you want. Right? So now they're going more than 10 splits under 10 acres.
Higher density.
Is that what they're doing, Sheree?
Want to just pull up spreadsheet before I answer.
But then you have to wait 10
Yeah,
years to do it
yeah,
again.
that's-
So there's no waiting period.
Right, that's what they did.
If I had 100 acres and I sold 10 acre lots to 10 different people, they could immediately split those all in 1 acre lots? Is that what it said?
That's what it sounds like, or within a year.
That's the problem.
1 moment. I will pull it.
We'll get into it whenever we see what it is.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like,
When does 1 year end?
we don't know that
I
either.
will give you that answer in just a minute.
So you get a developer company, all the partners.
She's about to project.
Yes.
She thinks she's
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I think the state is through a wrench, major wrench in people's.
So this one says,
Yeah, they brought that up when we were up at the Lansing conference, and that was one of the bills that was in the process, and their whole goal, they had stated, was to provide higher density housing.
And they said there were 2 or 3 of them in the process,
Oh, there are, yeah.
more or less for the same thing.
Right. So apparently this one got passed.
so March 24, 2026 is when it will be effective. But between now and then, they said the Act, Public Act 58 has authorized people to amend their ordinances if they want to.
So there's the map, Paul.
Key points, increase from 4 to 10. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah. where-
So there is a reset value, but the increase is from 4 to 10 for the first 10 acres. So,
Well, we'll deal with it when we.
and March 24, 2026 is when it will go into effect.
Okay, So you guys are gonna meet?
Yep, that's the plan.
So the lobbying for Colby one.
Yeah. Thank you for the tree. Standard review, ZBA decisions.
Yes, so I shared a copy of the slides with all the board members, planning commission. I hope you received them. Those are the ones we talked at the meeting. We weren't talking it in terms of amendment at all, but I just wanted to gauge where they are, what they feel. We used examples from previous samples, and there was a quiz after every standard. So it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Not at our age, no quizzes.
Nobody
It was more like prompt a discussion.
Usually threaten that.
Nobody could rate it. Nobody could rate it.
So I have a question. We don't have time yet to work on this ZBA, this project? Because we're still finishing a couple other, right? We're just getting an update.
It's just an
Just
update.
up.
We're not
No.
putting it, okay. So no meeting yet on this one?
It's just happening in the background in baby steps. It's not, we're not rushing to it, but I'm working on it too.
You're collecting.
I'm collecting data.
Awesome. Thank you.
For data centers. Large scale solar, Paul, I think you were leading, or Kay wanted to was leading.
Oh, it was kind of what I said before. We will be meeting soon. I'm trying to find that map, or at least get it one reprinted.
So in our January meeting minutes, the planning commission asked us 3 questions to look at and respond to. And once Sri finds that map, we'll meet and we will prepare responses and recommendations to those 3 requests.
Thank you. I don't have anything else under discussion items. So I have been making notes on our next meeting agenda. Will there be anything from large solar, do you think, for May? An update?
Will we be able to meet by then?
We can meet
Will it be a discussion item?
I think it'll just be a virtual
overall,
update.
like look at what we have currently and see if that needs to be changed at all. Yes, then what needs to be changed?
Yeah, so there were 3 questions, and one was, do we need to change it, and if so, what? So probably we won't have all of that done by then.
But we'll have a verbal update.
We have a verbal update.
That works.
That should be our goal, right? Okay.
Land division,
Yeah, I can.
is that going to be a new business, correct?
Right.
We'll have our public hearing on small solar and the data center moratorium. Compliance permits, or,
That's moving
that's
forward, right?
that's moving forward to the board, so we don't have that on our agenda, correct? But we do have,
We
so
will
for
see
use
this.
as our old business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have anything else on my agenda. I do have an action item for me on the data centers. So we have an update, and it's just for me based on our earlier conversation, because I had talked to Bill before about the data centers and exceeding solar, or not solar, but data centers. So I need to get with him, and I'll bring that back in the context of that whole data center discussion. Whatever he's got, because he told me when I was in the office with him, they're way ahead of us
Yeah,
on this.
they are.
So that insight, I think, could be valuable, and he's here 24/7. I mean, literally, he answers the phone every morning when I call, and who's the last person will be the night. Anything else that we need on the agenda that we missed? See nothing?
Well, there was one more thing. I mean, I'll talk to people in the office about getting the legal procedure stuff out to everybody.
Oh, okay.
So,
But that would be,
action item for me.
But that's not an agenda item for the next agenda.
No, you mentioned your action items.
So,
Mentioning.
public comment. Oh, no, wait a minute, you already talked.
This time is reset.
Oh, is this a reset? We made notes on his phone, that's what it was.
Reset.
I'm glad we're getting out of here at a reasonable time.
No, George only gives us till 9:30, then he stops the meeting and asks for a vote.
Well, I'll be fast, George. Just a couple things on the data center discussion, as you seem to be discussing kind of where the impacts in Webster Township might be. I've just been doing some research and reading on this stuff over the last several months as has become an issue in the state. Every data center proposal in the state of Michigan currently and in the past has been proposed within 1 mile of the high electricity transmission lines, like just south of here, that are running 345 kilovolts through Webster Township. So just a consideration on that. If a data center would try to come into this local area, it would likely be within 1 mile of those large transmission lines coming through. Just as far as the discussion about the large-scale solar too that you might be having coming up, last night it was slightly broached at the board about doing a moratorium on large-scale solar battery stations, as well as the moratorium on data centers. And at least from discussions I've had with folks in the public, there's no public desire for large data centers, large, like utility-size solar installations or large-size battery installations that are going to take up land in the area. That is not to say anything about the small solar, which I think should just be encouraged as much as possible. And on that, I also looked at the master plan to see what it says about solar energy systems, and all it says is that the township should be encouraging them in whatever way possible, essentially. Thank you.
Just as a clarification on us, I thought last night's moratorium included battery storage. I thought it did too.
But not large-scale solar,
But not
only
solar.
data centers
And
and
battery
battery
storage.
energy storage systems.
And a below threshold.
Correct,
Uh,
correct, okay. Just so my brain was,
In the large-scale solar, you can't put more right now.
no, no, you can't,
They're just sort of state, and
right.
it's the same thing with, we just found out from a lawyer, battery storage systems.
Yes,
They
50.
put the state did those.
Well, they can with the, they
Yeah.
can with data centers
It's
too.
like the same, about data centers.
Not data centers.
No,
It's
that's
just,
not what I heard.
That's not PA, but PA.
it's not.
It's not that.
Yeah, it's not in PA 233.
No, not 233. But they set it up in Lansing, they said the state really wants it, they will override you.
That's the incentives law.
Yeah. Okay, any other informational items, correspondence, or comments from the commissioners?
Just an
Or is it-
FYI,
You're going on vacation.
I'm not going to disclose that now.
Oh,
No, but I was recently approached for an exemption form, to sign an exemption for changes that are happening at Gordon Hall that are very much interior. And in the process of signing the form, I went back and tried to check, what are the previous permits, when are they issued, and I couldn't find any. So a change of use happened when the Gordon Hall was converted from residential to commercial use for Historical Society. And at that time, a compliance permit should have been asked for so that we could have looked at the change of use and the impacts and to determine whether additional parking would be required and the site plan would be required. All those checks were done. And so we're working with the Dexter Historical Society, trying to retroactively get all those in order, and it will eventually come to you guys.
actually, I have one
The
item
special
I
land
forgot
use.
about.
or what?
It's a permitted use because that property is zoned public lands.
Yeah.
So that property, Gordon Hall.
Yes,
is
yes.
owned public lands, okay.
Because you
Sorry.
owned it.
Right.
All right,
So it's a permitted use, but it may require a site plan because it's a change of use.
This is a yes or no question. I forgot to ask it earlier. Have we heard anything from the Historic Society?
No,
Okay.
because we told them, hold on, the board needs to decide the fees.
Right.
So that's why we didn't hear from them.
And then,
Oh,
if the board hasn't
so
decided that.
why hasn't
Is
it
it
been
on
on
your
board
agenda
agenda
ever?
then?
It's on their July or June agenda.
Oh, so you talked about that.
Okay. Not you, but would somebody else like to make a motion to?
Move to adjourn.
Like,
Action item. All in favor?